Use
Oh yeah, of course.
don't use two people.
Of course, of course. So I'm very, very honored and humbled and touched to have Grandmaster Dr. Wong. Thank you so much, and for bringing your longtime student, David Chin, with you. Very, very humbled to have you. No pressure, just hospitality, serving you guys tea, and enjoying story. So really, I'd just like to hear about your story, San Francisco legend, martial arts hero in the Bay Area.
One subject first. That's too great to get.
Great. So how about we talk about your first school?
Okay. When I was about 18 years old, a lot of friends wanted to take lessons from me. So we just do it in the outside open area. Sometimes we went up to the clock tower area to do lessons for a few students. Actually, those are friends. So slowly, they started. Then, like I mentioned before, with the first one, went to karate tournament and do the first kung fu sparring. Most people only do forms on. Back to the old days, I one time, because I don't know how to do the point sparring, but a lot of karate people, they warming up and get ready to spar. So I said, can I spar with you? So I'm using the opportunity to practice. And of course, they do point sparring. I don't know how to read. I hit the arms and legs. So and they all hurt, and very soon the whole bunch of people want to learn from me. So they come to. At that time, I from Chinatown. There's a good people, came more and more, and then I moved to the Sunset in the new neighborhood now in the Sunset. And I started teaching right there. And that's how I started the first school. And informally, just like homeschool like this. And then by 1971, around about 71, then I opened up the school on Noriega Street and 32nd, 31st. Yes. Yeah, I looked at them, and then the school building up very big and strong right here. That's how it started basically with friends, and then those friends are actually karate tournament.
Got it. So in that era of martial arts, there were a lot of challenges. Were you ever challenged?
Put this way, I was only about 18, 19 years old when I officially opened the school. At the time it was 1968. I was about 19 years old. So yes, there is a lot of karate people keep coming. They're not really challenging. They want to try you out, see you're okay before studying. So same thing, I pick them up by the arms and legs, and they start to become a students.
Interesting.
So not really come to make trouble challenging. It's just curious on to know that it's a kung fu work or not. Because they see that only the dancing forms kung fu only turn in 6 or 7 weeks.
Yes. And interesting method of only striking the arms and legs so that they have nothing to hit you with, as opposed to hitting them in the face or the body and damage.
So, see, the thing is, when they always, have some kind of guard, like that, you know, I always using this, you know, and then later on, if I have any difficult trouble, I will start like this. No, 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 don't come, don't come. But this is very exciting. Oh, no, no, no. Take it easy, take it easy. Calm down, calm down. But if they come to attack, I'm ready.
Interesting. So most of the people coming to test it were karate.
Yes, correct. Also, and also taekwondo. At that time, they don't call taekwondo, they call tamsodo.
Yes.
That's it. You know the history karate do is actually means tamsodo. In Chinese character means the Tang dynasty and so that means the karate do original same thing like tamsodo in Chinese writing characters. But they don't want to give credit to China anymore, so use the karate, the tongue and have the empty same sound, so change to empty hand wave. And the tamsodo,
Really?
the tamsodo, same thing in Korea, General Chai, and they don't want to give credit to Chinese anymore, so they changed to Taekwondo. And then later on, General Chai went to North Korea to preach the Taekwondo. Then the government don't like him and kick him out, and then they redesigned the Taekwondo. For for Taekwondo.
How about the Huarangdo?
Wait a minute. Let me finish. No longer call Taekwondo become Taekwondo. They don't want to give credit to China. They said, "Oh, you see, our cave, back to thousand years ago, we have martial art already." But in any cave, you could find any kind of position, right? Yeah. And so Huarangdo basically is all shoot from the let's say they have no, judo, hapkido. The front of the more change out from the so they do just kicks and then sometimes do.
So the Huarangdo, excuse me, the Taekwondo was originally Hang Sudo, and the Hang Sudo is originally from the Tang Dynasty.
From karate, actually.
Cool.
Yeah. Because now in the Shotokan karate, the first they call the first 4 katas performs, and in the early Taekwondo, the Tansodo exactly the same. But now they change into the Taekwondo, of course, everything new.
Cool. So most challenges were karate or Taekwondo. Did you see any of other kung fu schools come to challenge or test?
Because everybody might own business.
You were also one of the first teachers to open to non-Chinese students.
Not really, because back to the old days in Chinatown, there's a Laoban's Singing School, and there's a T.Y. Wong's school on Sacramento Street. So they teaching the Buddha style Fanpa system. Now that system found in Kaishan, China. Now they changed the name called new opportunity. So they call because the promoter the last time they call them Falcon. Recently, the past 5 years.
And they've all been teaching the non-Chinese.
They are the first one. That's kind of funny. In the old days, the school that we $15 a month. Yeah. $15 a month. they probably also collect the Chinese 15, the non-Chinese, they probably charge 20. And right here, there's all this commercial, which is 20,000. That's how it works, you know.
But they just got charged more. You know, that's funny because even in Vietnam, the local Chinese people, granted they paid less, but they also had lesser accommodation. And then the foreigners would come and pay a lot more, but we had better accommodation.
So back to the old days. Only one Hawaii. I remember being from Hawaii. It's a close friend that went to school. It's nice, and so I think the old days that it's not working. That's what something as a student. So I remember that. But of course, he's he never stopped teaching or anything like that. I don't care how many students you have, none you soon continue teaching the student. The award system is not just about students. A lot of students only have your pocket, maybe a little bit more money, but you have to have students start to qualify throughout teaching and branch out and
Got it. So then, from your first school in 1968, when did you start to branch out nationally of other schools in America?
I think it's not that I send students branch out. Just like, hey, David, go to New York Open School. He don't go. He have family here. He have jobs here. So most of the schools is because I guess I have a column inside Kung Fu back in the old days. So people heard about me and come to search me. And at that time, you know, there's too many called chop suey Kung Fu. I guess nowadays the chop suey, the new generations don't know that anymore, right? You don't go to Chinese restaurant order chop suey anymore, right? But that's the old terms, you know. So chop suey Kung Fu that they are learning here and there in pieces of here, so they don't have any roots or anything. So some people, learn from the videos and things like that, you know. So they heard about me, then start to come over to start taking lessons. Basically, they already have a school and have students. So after they come a few times, and then I started going to their school to do seminar, and especially taught them more. The seafood or head instructor showed them more forms and teach them. I said everything that we have a manuscript, so it's in English. So when I showed them a form, back the old days, not even have a video. You know, not even that they have video camera. You know, so but I give them a manuscript and they start to learn and film and they look at it. So,
That has to be one of the most impactful things that I noticed at Troy Foot. Two of my friends down in LA did practice, and one person knew a black dragon form, and the other person didn't know the form. And so the guy who knew the black dragon form would just recite the manuscript. I guess he had memorized it. And just by reciting, this other guy who never knew the form before was able to do the form. Because the manuscript was just this stance, this punch, this stance, this punch. And to transition from one to the other, basically just doing the form. Is this how the manuscripts work?
yes, first and number one, facing east, arm down, left foot forward to a cat stance, and do the left palm, right fist to the king eye, and then left foot step back, right foot continue next to it, step back, roll the hand back to the waist, elbow behind, and then right cross stands forward, and both hands on the left side down, forward towards a square horse taking ma, left quadrille. Left hand still behind, and turn to the same direction, to the right into ma, left chum jump, right fist behind, something like that.
Now, you mentioned face east. And
I
so-
just use for example. Sometimes they, some school they start facing west.
Interesting. Hmm. And I also note that a lot of these styles will have
And yeah, we have called the zone top, like Charlie for some range. We have a long opening up there and then shoot out this way, you know, facing that down kick and then rebounds and then do the form and then eventually you finish the form, come back here and you salute right there. So we start right here because from the bow we start here. So a lot of people don't know, they thought that we messed up the form facing the wrong direction. You see. So that's why, you know, before our students go out, we have to let the judges know. Judges, I start from here and then I finish right here, let them know. Or else they did not, they forgot the form messed up.
Yeah, because there's elaborate openings, there's the form, and then there's a closing too, correct?
Yeah, before Charlie, but the reason they have that is that symbolic movement for revolution. So anybody see the form like that, they know they're from the same party.
Thank you for that. So then, is there also a relationship with sounds that they make
Yes.
relative to the tribe or the what party?
Yeah, the main three sounds, you know, when you have a tight claw, you say walk. And then when you do a kick strike, you say tick. And then you do a palm strike or do a challenge, you say yak. So walk, tick, yak is the main three sounds in Charlie. And of course, sometimes we do a soldier sick. We do that sick. So that's the most popular sound, three sounds.
And are these sounds similar to a ki to generate power, or are they just ways to distinguish your tribe?
The Wakit Yak is also a revolutionary. So whenever you see somebody say Wakit Yak, you know that it's actually same system of revolution and Tai Chi government. And then the Sik is the exhale. Because in order to say Sik, you have to have inhale first and then you can exhale out.
So it is a type of power generator.
Yes.
Fascinating. While we're speaking of tones, does Choi Lei Fut have a healing tone practice?
Because Charlie Fat strictly is a martial art system and is have the movement is very relaxed and it's not stiff and tense, you know, not like a home guard system. So we are snap out, relax, you know, almost like northern style hand movement. So it strictly is a fighting system, but Charlie Fat also have an internal form. Like Itimohan. Those have some sounds and breathing thing involved, but it's not a fighting form, it's a health form.
I was introduced to that 18 Lohan form in Honolulu. The master Ao Sang. They also do this 18.
Yes, Gaspar is the first one. My student in Spain, and people know that form. So, Sing Ao Sing, that I think he learned from one of the Gaspar students. But tell you the truth, that you know that form, that whoever teacher, I don't want to mention names anymore, that his memory or his learning is not follow the manuscript. I teach 100% by the manuscript. They have about 90%. Interesting.
And then so this form, granted, it's a qigong.
So you could say it's a internal form,
Could there also be a fighting form as well?
not
No.
the scientific.
What would be specific that makes it for healing versus fighting or internal?
We have another slow form called Buddha Palm. And do it slow and relaxed. And, because just like Tai Chi, why Tai Chi have to do slow? Only slow you could relax. Only slow you could calm down. When you calm down, relax, the chi flow, so you could produce more qi or qi. So we do have a couple internal forms, fighting forms. But those only I teach them nowadays. So nobody really knows. But you see, black tiger form was not this. It's some other past masters they developed. So you could say it's actually formed from that lineage. So we cannot say it's not actually formed, but not from the actual family.
Now, you had mentioned that Choi Lei Fa is strictly fighting, and yet there's some internal cultivation forms. And yet you also practice Chinese medicine.
Yes.
And so, could you please tell us about that journey?
Okay. When I was young, I love Kung Fu. I love Qigong. So from the influence from the practice, then I start off the injury medicine called Dita medicine. From the Dita medicine, and I look for more teachers to learn, and eventually I studied 2 herbalists in Chinatown. And one of the herbalists knows some basic acupuncture. So basic acupuncture. So later on, when I was in Hong Kong with my Kung Fu teacher and Tai Chi teacher, my great grandmaster Hu Yanzhou, yeah. And then I asked him, I like to study acupuncture. He said, I'm an herbalist. I never learned acupuncture before. But one of my friends is a very traditional, real Chinese acupuncture practitioner in Hong Kong. So he sent me to learn from that, study private lesson from him because I already have background. So I studied him. So he showed me the pressure point that we learned is different than the now that in China because it's the traditional one. So I learn and memorize all the pressure points. And that also that study practice needles to ourselves. All the points that we could hit, we do ourselves. Anything we cannot do it, and we do it possible. After that, then the addiction come in. So we did all the needles and asked me to take it out later. So after a while, they have whole room for sympathy, So then they, okay, do this one. So I start to do it. If I do it correctly, then good. Okay, if I do it, then he didn't say it wrong. I think that do it this way better. So so that's how I learned from that. So working in practice with patients. That's how my medicine and the internal medicine. I also study like the herbalist prescription. But again, in this country, there's too much abilities. Yeah. We have to have Chinese medical insurance too. So, and besides that, the the regular Chinese opera tea is very bitter. In the beginning, I help them, buy from down street herb store. And some people buy 6, 7 packs, after drink one sip and then throw away the whole thing. So I stopped using that anymore. And then if there's also any pills, Chinese opera pills, and I can take the pills and with acupuncture together. So that's how my herbal medicine and acupuncture combined together.
So then the herbal medicine and acupuncture combined, how did the medicine influence your martial?
The only influence with the martial art is Gita, because Gita is actually nowadays you could say that the Gita and martial art have no relationship anymore, because over here you have to go to school, you have to have degrees, have to be certified. So, and nowadays, not like the old days in the village, there's no possibility, there was no clinic. So anybody got hurt, and you have to see a martial teacher, a sifu, to a treatment. That's how that relates to martial in the old days. Nowadays, there's so much hospital clinics, because insurance ability, you don't need to learn medicine anymore. If you like to learn, it's your own personal interest.
Wow, so you were fortunate enough to have the interest to get the medicine and the martial.
Basically, my own personal interest.
So then, what are some of the more challenging cases that you treat with medicine?
Not really, because a lot of those herbal pills, a good one, they're not allowed to come into the U.S. But using that, I try not to use it if I can. But some treatments with both acupuncture and the pills will be too fast.
Fascinating. I particularly have interest in these conversations because I practice the martial arts, but I also practice the clinical arts too. But then there's also the spiritual arts, and I know you did about Buddhist as well. Could you talk about how Buddhism has influenced your practice?
Actually, from martial art into Buddhism. When I was I went to San Francisco because FOB. That's off the board. Yeah, we had the pops, So at ABC, American Born Chinese, because we don't speak the English and South African, give you kind of discrimination. Right? So for my self-defense, I know that Kung Fu is the only way. But I was only 4 years old, and my mom, parents, that they against me to learn Kung Fu, because the fact that old days not like nowadays they're so open to public, because they think that whoever the martial school must be there's a mafia clubs or something that Chinese palms people get in trouble for fighting and killing, so they don't want to get about that. They don't understand martial school, so they don't support me in martial art. So anybody knows something I learned from. So there's a guy who is a lecturer San Francisco, Chinatown, Clay Street, between Grand Avenue and Stockton. That's basement. So, Buddhist lecture hall. I teach Tai Chi here. Free time, at the Catholic school. So I'm not baptized in Catholic, but I still fully believe that. So before I went down to the basement, so and I tried to study from the guy very slow. Taught me to calm him first. Later on, I got curious, what's this about? What's this about? Buddhism. Start to ask questions. And that's what.
Yeah, because we know where they fight to be Sun and Shaolin system, Shaolin's Buddhist. The stories of Bodhidharma teaching monks. Strong. But I'm always curious how the Buddhism translate to martial arts beyond just health or something.
The whole relationship is from Bodhidharma that Mohan exercises, even that inform that whole purpose. But so-called Qigong is active study, dynamic study. So that means that, like, for example, you do Tai Chi form, that's a movement. But when you do meditation, that's silent. So you have to have both combined together to have a system. Doesn't matter what you do, because a lot of people they know Tai Chi, they teach you whole bunch of soft exercise, movement. So again, if you just learn that, you don't meditate, you don't Qigong training. And if you just do meditation, the meditation is for the mind, the spiritual. But the Tanzhuang standing meditation is the one is more like martial art, hold the posture for the king. So all this one help your mind calm down, help you relax. So when you relax and calm, then your reflex also better. So when somebody throw a punch to you, you reflect faster. Otherwise, the punch, you not even know what's going on. So that's why the real martial art meditation is the Tanzhuang, the standing meditation. Sitting lotus medicine is a spiritual meditation. So I did the Tanzhuang Yichuan system from Professor Yu for 9 years. And then after 9 years, then they start the sitting meditation because the chi is already opened up. So now I do Tai Chi and sitting meditation.
Fascinating. So, what a wonderful journey to have done all the kung fu and all the medicine, and now to have found a place where you can just do Tai Chi and meditate. What a wonderful way to express your practice. What would you tell a young man early on his kung fu journey? What advice would you give to a young man?
Stick to one teacher. Learn everything from him before you come to another teacher. Don't learn from more system at the same time. For example, you could learn Hung Ga or Wing Chun from the one teacher. At the same time, if you are learning, you could learn Tai Chi internal. That's totally different. But Wing Chun and learn Chole at the same time. That makes up system or learn Wing Chun and learn Hong Kong or learn Hong Kong and Chole.
So then, this is interesting because nowadays we have the trend of mixed martial arts, which in effect would be chop suey or a little bit of this.
If you want understand one, you want understand all. Once you up to really understand the martial art to the extreme level, you will become like Bruce Lee's idea form without form. You just come naturally. That's only for the level. Martial art and people fight. You don't need any style and form. And somebody before he hit, boom, I hit him over. I don't need any like movies, or the movies, they do that. In movie they do like that, doesn't look good. Have a few movements like that, So real martial art effectiveness, you have to spar. If you don't spar, just learn forms and useless. But in China, they now the new generation in China, they look down to the traditional martial art. They only respect Taekwondo, outside martial art. So why? Because China forbidden for fighting, so they only allow form for health and fitness. So that's why the old master either they die before cultural revolution, or the new generation they learn they never train to fight. They just remember the form. So they never fight, never spar before. How can they become effective? So that's why in China now, because the Ip Man movie, now in China, they all looking for Wing Chun.
That makes sense. And then they only like Ip Man because Bruce Lee.
No, because Danny and movie. They everybody still respect Bruce Lee, talk of Bruce Lee, but that's too far away. Yeah. And I said that Bruce Lee doesn't teach Chinese martial art. I said Jeet Kune Do is the real only American martial art. Because he born in America. After he died, he buried in Seattle. And then all this time he never returned to China before, due to China not open up at the time before he died. So he started so-called Jeet Kune Do. Even though there's just the mind, no physical thing. But if let's say that if a student learn from him, whatever he teach to coach Jeet Kune Do, that's is the only American martial art.
Interesting.
Because all the other martial arts come from karate, taekwondo, the kung fu, they all imported. That's only American martial art that you can go.
I get it. Okay. Wow. Grandmaster, you've been very generous with your time. We've been recording for some time, and we spent a lot of time prior to. So, can I ask one last question? And that would be, what's next for you? What big goals do you have? You're already an accomplished master. You have an international federation. Are there any more mountains to climb for you?
As I retire, I recommend the next generation them and his student, start to open schools or be qualified and keep promoting it. So I will back them up. I still do testing for high level people. I still do seminar. Due to the COVID, they've been stopped for almost 4 or 5 years now. So I stopped traveling to seminars again. There's one coming this month, this month. 26, 27, and then September, go down San Diego, start doing has different high level instructors. Make sure they don't off track. Watch out, make sure they learn it right.
Yeah.
And
And if they don't,
I like it.
enforcer.
So like coming over Thursday, so I need to give him some correction because he stopped teaching now. So I make sure that he teach correctly. Some people learn it right, but when they come to teaching, they think differently. So I have to see the form they do it, make sure they do it exactly the way. If you don't have each angle degree still right, let's say that I have 10 students, they all off a little bit. Then each one, they have 10 students, later on 100 students off a little bit, and then 1,000, they're all different. That's how Chinese martial art, so many branches, so many different systems, because growing differently, understand differently. So like I said, when you learn the system correctly, have to do correctly. But when you apply to advanced use, it's on your own. Same thing, I do the Tai Chi, exactly when to close, when to turn, when to go out, when to let go, when to come down, when to go out, how high the hand, how long how distant, they have to do exactly like that. But by myself, if I go out to perform, I don't follow that thing. It's a show. So when you practice, it's not for show for yourself. So that will come over Thursday. Today Thursday. Original is today, but I switching into next Thursday come down.
So that you can spend time with me.
Yeah. So give him some corrections and you do it exactly the way I want.
Yeah, I'm supposed to see his son Darius too, right? Yeah, great.
Darius doesn't train.
Well, Grandmaster, I have only known you a couple years now, but I've known a number of your students and your students, and you've created such a legacy and you've managed to maintain such a wonderful community feeling, a family feeling, despite being so big. So
I think I met you about 5 years ago at the Concord School doing the video.
Yeah, I was the villain.
First time right there.
Yeah.
It seems like you are not the taller time. You should,
I'm getting wider.
I don't remember you the freaking talk before.
I was wearing, now I'm wearing high heels.
Because when you show up at the house, wait a minute. I recognize your face because you even have there, and it's different. But again, I just don't remember you that big,
Don't forget handsome.
Yeah.
Well, Grandmaster, thank you for coming to my home and letting me interview and bringing your bodyguard, Dick Chin.
Yeah.
And
Because I don't fight anymore. You have to fight them.
And thank you for living the example of what martial arts can be. That's very good. Wow.
Wow. That was awful.